Everyone keeps saying unlimited PTO is the future, but what if it's actually making things worse for your business? Hi entrepreneurs, I'm Vicky Brown, and you're in the right place if you want to engage your team, boost your business, and grow your leadership muscle. You know, it sounds good on paper, right? It's modern, it's flexible, it tells your team you trust them, and if you're like a lot of first-time leaders, you may have a thought, this will be easier. No need to track anything, no drama about who has how many hours left. I get it. But once you're the one actually running the team, once you're responsible for client deliverables, team morale, and payroll, unlimited PTO stops sounding quite so perfect. Because here's the thing no one tells you when you're just getting started. Flexible doesn't always mean functional, especially not for a growing small business. Oh, I understand the appeal. Unlimited time off feels like a culture win. You want to show your team that you trust them. You want to avoid micromanaging. And maybe you're thinking it'll be less admin. No tracking, no accrual, no payout when someone leaves. But here's what often happens instead. People don't actually take the time, or they take too much, or no one really knows what's okay. And suddenly, you're not saving time. You're spending more of it managing confusion. Ambiguity creates confusion. One person thinks 4 weeks is reasonable. Another thinks 2. A manager might approve a whole month off for someone and then deny another person's request because that's just too much. With no guardrails, consistency just goes out the window. And despite how it sounds, people actually end up taking less time off. That may be surprising, but studies back it up. In fact, recent reports consistently show that employees with unlimited PTO often take less time off than employees with traditional PTO policies. Why? Because without a set amount, people just aren't sure what's acceptable. They don't want to seem like they're taking advantage, so they just don't take the time. And that leads to burnout. Quiet burnout. The kind you don't catch until productivity dips and someone quits unexpectedly. It's also hard to enforce boundaries. If someone puts in for a 6-week vacation, what's your basis for saying no? You can try to use business needs as a reason, but when there's no actual PTO policy behind it, it can start to feel arbitrary or even unfair. Then there's the issue of no accrual, which means no payout. Now, in some states, that's legal, but imagine telling a team member, someone who gave you 3 great years, that they won't be paid out for unused time when they leave because it was unlimited. That can land hard. It can damage your reputation, and it can damage morale. And if you're in a state like California, you've got another issue. Vacation time is considered earned wages here. So if you're thinking of using unlimited PTO for non-exempt employees, you should talk to counsel first. That structure may not pass legal muster. And on top of that, terminations get messy. Someone leaves and says they didn't get to use their time, or they claim they were discouraged from taking it. And with no documentation, no approvals, and no accrual records, it's just your word against theirs. And that's not a position that you want to be in. If you're leading a small team, maybe 5, 10, or 20 people, every absence is noticeable. Every delay has a ripple effect. You can't afford to be vague about who's out, how long, or how things are going to get covered. You see, structure isn't about being rigid, it's about being clear, and clarity gives everyone room to operate. Predictability is helpful. You can plan around absences, you can keep your clients happy, and your team doesn't have to wonder whether asking for time off is going to leave someone else overwhelmed. When you're still building the culture, when you're still setting expectations, clarity matters more than trendy perks. So here's what I do instead. I offer a generous but structured PTO policy. My team knows exactly how much time they have, how to request it, and what the process looks like. It's not rigid, it's not cold, but it is clear. We separate vacation and sick time, especially because in California, there are specific rules around sick leave accrual. The law requires a minimum accrual of 1 hour for every 30 hours worked, and there are detailed rules around how it's tracked, carried over, and used. So we keep that sick time bucket separate, both to stay compliant and to protect business. We also offer floating holidays or personal days to give people a little extra flexibility. So if they want to celebrate a holiday that's not on our calendar, or if they just need a mental health day, they've got room to do that without opening the door to unlimited PTO. And all of it is documented. The handbook explains how time is earned, how it's approved, and how it's tracked. We use tools to manage it, nothing fancy, just reliable. And that way, there are no surprises. Creating those systems isn't just about operations. It's a leadership move. Setting time off boundaries doesn't mean you don't trust your team. It means you're making space for rest and making sure the business can keep running. It means you're building a structure where people know what's expected and what's available. A good PTO policy communicates values. It protects your rhythm, and it keeps your team well and with you for the long haul. And while we're on the topic of time off, don't forget to take your own. One of the easiest ways to reinforce the culture that you want is to model it yourself. And that means you actually need to take breaks. Not just say it's okay. You've got to walk away, unplug, and trust your team to cover things. If you never take PTO, your team gets the message, loud and clear, that time off is discouraged. And if they think the only way to be valuable is to grind constantly, well then, I can tell you, burnout is just around the corner. But if, on the other hand, you lead by example, if you plan ahead, delegate, and actually use your PTO, well then you show everyone that it's not only allowed, it's expected, that rest is part of the workflow. Unlimited PTO can sound like freedom, but too often it's a shortcut, a way to avoid writing a real policy. And if you're building a business, you don't need shortcuts. You need systems that work. You need a culture that's intentional. You need clarity. That's why I don't offer unlimited PTO. I offer a policy that's generous, transparent, and sustainable. And that kind of clarity, well, that's what works for us. Remember, your inspired leadership is the secret sauce to having a high-performance team and a wildly successful business you'll love. I'll see you next time on Leader's Journey.